Previously on Will the Mini Jeep Make It to Area 51? Things started well, fairly well, and I was even having some fun with radio control mode. But I'd decided that my 650-mile route from central Utah to Area 51 in Nevada was going to include a 100-mile-long mountain trail at 10,000 feet. And for that, I fitted a tank track conversion and then started the trail in a danger-to-life snowstorm unsupported. And at the end of the last video, after 3 miserable days on the mountain alone, I found a cabin.
That better be fucking open.
The story continues. So with my chances of survival resting quite a bit on this hut, time to see if it's open.
Holy shit. It's open. And there's firewood. And that's how much snow there is. Oh my god. Looks like I'll fix their door for him. Dig out all of that snow. Right. There's Willie. I'm going to unload and warm up. Holy shit balls. Thank you whoever built this. I will do unmentionable things to you.
And by the time I'd brought all my gear inside, the sun had gone down and it was time to focus my attention on the fire. Which was awesome. I sat here for ages letting the heat fill my bones and dry out my clothing. And then I turned my attention to food. Main course was going well, which was more than can be said about afters.
We've had a calamity. This bag, which contained a Toblerone, got too close to the exhaust. Dessert is going to be licking my power bank.
But for the moment it was time for main course, which was a tin of brown. But I can't complain, because it was hot brown. And then I took one more step towards being committed to an asylum, because apparently I filmed this for you.
Okay, trying to film me eating this is a right pain in the ass because it's pitch black. I need many hands, so I'm going to do it in post. So, hum.
I used to be trusted to work in nuclear power stations.
That was really nice. Nom nom nom.
And then it was time for dessert.
Well, this is a new low.
And then it was morning.
Welcome to the day after. You joined me in the cabin that was an absolute lifesaver. I slept there on the floor. My sleeping bag is now dry. The temperature in here is up to 8.3. I'm currently attempting Pop-Tarts. I don't know how well that's going to go. And then coffee, because I have some Folgers.
And now I'd triggered every American with the pronunciation of that coffee, it was time to plan my route.
So I started there, basically broke down about there, and then yesterday I did the 9.5 miles to there. And now I have to get to here where the road crosses. It's 14.5 miles. That's where I reevaluate my life choices.
I'm going to delay here until about 10 o'clock when I can't put off the inevitable anymore. And I've got to carry on.
And the weather is light snow. Of course it fucking is. Wish me luck.
It is incredibly burnt, overbrewed and bitter, but it's lovely. In 30 minutes I've got to go back out there. It's the timer I've set myself, 10 AM. 14 miles to the first road.
And thank you once again to Paul Castle, if you're watching this, that bought me this Arctic sleeping bag 12 years ago. It's awesome, and packing down this small is an absolute godsend.
Okay, well, Willie's all warmed up, and the mini Jeep, and this place was lovely. Absolute godsend. That fire, incredible. And I'm fully fueled up. I've eaten 4 Pop-Tarts, 2 cups of coffee, 2 tins of food, and I need to apologise for what I've done to that toilet outside.
So time to leave. But first I decided to fix the door that was broken when I arrived yesterday.
Nope. And for a second wedge.
And then I couldn't put it off any longer. I had to get in the mini Jeep and carry on. While remembering not to leave the camera behind. once I started on the trail I'll be taking today, I promise I'm not just delaying getting moving and getting cold for as long as possible. There was one last task I had to complete.
Something I do mean to do is check the oil level, because I screamed the absolute nuts off this at about 7,000 RPM for most of yesterday. No. No oil on dipstick.
So I topped up the oil and also solved a mystery from the previous day's drive.
Oh dear. Appear to have melted Willie quite badly. That explains what the smell was yesterday. I'm sorry, Willie. A fully lubricated Willie. Yes.
And remember, if you laughed at that, I'm not the problem.
14 miles to go.
I calmly asked my gearbox to change gear.
Go in a second, you prick.
Before finally heading off.
There we go.
For not that long.
Well, I made it about a mile and I've discovered another problem.
I am out of fuel. You can see in there is bugger all.
And this is 5 gallons. And it's done that in 14.5 miles, which means I do 3 miles per gallon. Which also means that I've got 14 miles to go to the trailhead and I've got 7.5 gallons left. So I should make it, and today's driving should be better with less like digging and stuff. But yeah, trying to do the 100-mile trail, that requires 30 gallons of fuel and I'm carrying 12.5 and I'm at capacity. So luckily I can fill up now and I can carry on.
And leave 3 miles per gallon as a problem for future Ed.
It is me in the middle of nowhere. Mucho gasolina.
And to any British people watching, yes, I did learn Spanish from the Fast Show.
Mucho wobblio.
Channel 9. Mono estente. Sausage factory.
Point in safe direction. Press button.
And now the weather was good enough that my cameras would actually stay on, which was useful.
Thrilling footage.
So I'd fueled up, the weather was good,
Scorchio.
my cameras were working, and the start button worked 3 times in a row without being frozen. So everything was looking good. Except the second I started moving forwards, I got beached and the track started spinning.
What is it?
But my well-proven method of backing up and turning a bit worked, and we were off. The scenery here was very pretty, and I enjoyed looking at it as I continued following the trail and yanking as hard as I could on the brake levers to turn. And for a couple of miles I made decent progress as I watched the world go by. But then I broke through the hard crust on top of the snow and got properly stuck up to the axles again. And I would have been okay with the normal hour of digging, but then things went even worse.
Bigger problem has presented itself. Gear linkage has come loose.
It can go into reverse, but when you go backwards it slips. It's the actual lock nut on the shaft. And normally when you're supposed to be able to get at it, you can get at it from underneath, but I'm up to the axles in snow. Get out of the way, muff pot.
So with the muff pot out of the way, I could get at the linkage from above, tighten the nut, and then for good measure I made some clearance with a hacksaw blade while Vin Diesel supervised. With the gearbox working again, I got the tracks turning, but I was still beached, so it was time to spend another 30 minutes clearing snow.
Right, let's carry on digging it out. One problem at a time.
And after exhausting myself even more, I finally got the tracks to grip just enough to move me a very small amount. But some would actually say it's a really big amount.
Right, well I got an inch.
And as I now had pretty much no energy left after all that digging, I just took it slow, and with a lot of moving forwards and backwards, I eventually got out of the snow hole.
We're free. There's only so many times I can do that before I'm spent. So it's super gently move forwards. The second it even starts to get stuck, stop and back it up. This snow here is a pain in the ass.
So with my new tactic of driving as gently as possible,
Super steady, really slow.
I decided to just kick back and enjoy the ride. Okay, I'm not setting any land speed records, but I am totally alone up here on a 10,000 foot mountain. So, as long as I'm moving and not getting stuck, It's a pretty awesome thing to be doing.
It's slow progress, but it is progress.
And then the snow got more hard packed and we were motoring along. Things were going really well. Only kidding, the left brake lever sprung a leak and started squirting brake fluid all over the floor again. But it turned out to just be a loose fitting, so I just snugged it up, topped up the fluid, a bit too much.
I've overfilled that. I think that's enough.
And we were off again. And while this was very pretty, up at 10,000 feet, it was very cold. So the bad news is I didn't enable stabilisation on the camera, but the good news is that means I get to convey just how much I was shivering. With the drone shots in the bag, I shivered off in the general direction of the trail to try and find somewhere to put my tent for the night. And as the daylight faded, and I wondered if I was about to get hypothermia, Irony thought it would be funny to show me an exhaust pipe so hot I was wondering if the mini Jeep was about to catch fire. That's not depressing at all. I tried finding some decent shelter on top of this ridge, but the light faded too fast, so in the end I settled for these two trees, set up camp, and got out of the wind. Hello, you joined me inside my tent. What I didn't film for you was that just after getting the drone shots, I got stuck in the snow for about 2.5 hours until the sun was setting, and I'm not going to set up a tripod, and all of the GoPro batteries were too cold. I managed 9.5 miles today. I have 5 miles to go tomorrow until I get to the road. I didn't want to drive at night, but it's really difficult to see the route, and if I get stuck and whatnot, it's just a bad idea. And if it took me an entire day to do 9 miles in the daytime, I don't want to try and do 5 miles at night. I'm gonna see what food I've got to cheer me up. I think I've got 3 chocolate bars left, 4 Pop-Tarts. Ooh, the Skittles. This is a depressing existence. Willie needs more ground clearance, and I think that the tracks need to go underneath him rather than out to the side, because once he gets beached, he's stuck, and it just takes hours to dig out. I'm going to get my sleeping bag, I'm going to warm up. I'll see you in the morning when hopefully I can film some more, and it'll be really pretty and awesome and stuff. Actually, I've got something better than Skittles, and it's finally defrosted. Thanks to GA Jerk, they saw me eating jerky in the previous mini Jeep adventure, and they got in contact with me and said, would you like some jerky for your next adventure? And here it is, and it's been in my sleeping bag, and it has finally defrosted. I tried some of it before the journey as well, and it's not dried, it's just smoked. So it's actually quite moist, and it's really good. So yeah, thank you GA Jerk, this is awesome. Good morning! The sun is out. The temperature in here is up to 11.8 degrees. That's good. I think that means my boots are actually going to bend when I put them on. I kept my water inside my sleeping bag in 2 dirty socks. It smells funny, but tastes good. It's time to pack up and do the final 4.7 miles to the road. Gotta get out of my lovely warm sleeping bag and hit the trail, if I can find it. Come on, royalty-free music. My foot goes in. What's it like outside? Oh yes, clear blue sky.
Look at that.
Signal? The fuck did that come from?
Time to send a message that people know that I'm alive. What do I look like?
Like a motorcyclist crashed into a Build-A-Bear shop.
Wow. Oh wow.
And suffered brain damage.
There we go.
I then used my ninja skills to pack up camp. And set up another That's What She Said.
Get in the hole, you bastard.
Nice.
And speaking of holes, debt is a hole that no one likes to be in, and that's where today's video sponsor, PDS Debt, can help. If you have more than $10,000 worth of debt and your monthly payments aren't making the debt balance go down, PDS Debt has solutions for you. There's no minimum credit score requirement, and PDS Debt can help you save more while paying off your debt in a fraction of the time. PDS Debt has customised options for anyone struggling with credit cards, personal loans, collections, or medical bills. And they strive to understand your specific scenario so they can help provide alternative solutions to becoming debt-free. To start your path to becoming debt-free, go to the PDS website and take their quick and easy debt assessment. It only takes 30 seconds and it can help you get out of a perpetual debt that's crushing you, because even though you're making payments, the actual debt balance just isn't going down. Make this year the year you take control of your debt. Get a free debt analysis right now at pdsdebt.com/C90adventures. It only takes 30 seconds. That's pdsdebt.com/C90adventures. pdsdebt.com/C90adventures. Back to the video. So with camp packed up, all that remained was to do some maintenance and practice my Spanish.
Mucho oilo.
And then pack up my rubbish
Rubbish bag.
and practice my American.
Trash bag.
Then I had to chip all of the ice out of the footwell so I could get my legs in.
Where do I want to put my feet? It's like 4 inches of ice on the floor. Okay, well, that'll do for that. Now we eating so much food, I can put things inside the bags.
And unfortunately I couldn't chip the ice out of my seat that was frozen solid,
Well, that's not squidgy anymore.
but we were finally off and in high spirits. The weather was so much nicer than before, and the snow was now hard packed enough for me to not get beached. And with only enough food and fuel to make it the 5 miles to where the road crosses this trail, for the moment, it was time once again to get in my fairly crap but lovable tank and carry on exploring this mountain. So today was going well. I was in my happy place, travelling alone through this beautiful desolation and picking my route by keeping an eye out for the orange posts poking out through the snow and then making my way between them. And I can confirm I'm alone because there's nobody there, there's nobody there, there's nobody there, and there's nobody there. But should anyone ever come up here, I do wonder what they'll think of the tracks I'm leaving. And as if today couldn't get any better, the snow got more hard packed, and I managed to set a new Willy the Tank speed record of 17 miles an hour, which meant I had to flip down the visor on my 10-year-old helmet and make the obligatory moan to Schubert Helmets, who still won't send me a new helmet after giving me 2 in the past and getting me addicted to them, kind of like how a drug dealer does. Come on, Schubert, give me the good stuff. I need it, man. And another downside of travelling this fast is that it throws a lot of snow onto me and onto my beloved seat cover as well, which I addressed when I stopped to set up the drone again to make sure I was capturing just how pretty it was for you up here. And I hope I've managed it. Spending 5 days on this mountain range completely by myself is one of my most favourite things I've ever done. This place is awesome in its own right, but being totally alone up here with no one to help me if things go wrong on my unproven tracked mini Jeep was adding an extra element of danger and self-reliance that was really taking this adventure to the next level for me. But things were about to change massively, and despite being an old school British chap with a stiff upper lip, it was time for me to get pretty dramatic. After nearly a week up here alone fending for myself, I saw my first human.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to miss this opportunity to socialise.
You're my first human in 5 days.
5 days it took you to get from Soldier Summit to here?
Yeah, it was brutal.
Look at that cool little thing, dude. Huh?
Cool little son of a gun right there, boy.
He's been 5 days getting to here.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You are the man.
I don't have enough ground clearance, so if I punch through, I'm screwed. I've probably been digging myself out for 12 hours on this trip. Whoever built that warming hut, the things I want to do to them are illegal in Utah.
When it's on a mountain.
If there's a way that I can donate, let me know, because holy shit, was that good.
Get a fire?
Yes.
Sam Peak
Sam Peak
Snowmobilers
Complex.
Complex.
Skyline Complex. Where you from, brother?
England.
England.
You got somebody to pick you up from there? Or?
No, I'm not quite sure what I'm doing yet. I was originally carrying the wheels for this so that I could convert it in the parking lot.
Okay,
I'm ultimately going to Area 51 in Nevada, but on wheels. If I can get to Fairview, is there a hotel or a motel or something? Or
There is in
Yeah.
in Mount Pleasant.
Now, if it works out, I mean, you can stay at my house if you wanted. I can
Cheers.
load that in my trailer.
Right, well, you might be earning more of a donation.
I mean, if it
Don't mind
works
paying
out-
for people's time and
I
hospitality.
got a whole basement. You're more than welcome to stay in. I can run you anywhere.
I've got about half an hour here, and then I'll head there. I only do about 3 miles an hour. If you're not in a massive rush, I predict I'll be there in an hour. I'll get my final shots, and I'll see
buddy.
you there, and then work out what happens.
Hell yeah, rock on.
Awesome. Jesus. They're a bit quicker than me. Right, let's get these shots and then head to them. That is incredibly fortuitous.
Well, I don't know how I do it, but randomly bumping into Vince on this mountain was an absolute godsend. And I should probably explain why. You see, while Willie was currently doing okay, and the weather at the moment was pretty good as well, there were still 2 rather large problems.
I've probably been digging myself out for 12 hours on this trip.
And
3 miles per gallon.
And that means that while I currently had enough food and fuel to complete the first 30 miles of this trail, to the only road that crosses it, to do the remaining 70 miles of total emptiness, I was going to need to refuel here with nearly triple the amount of fuel I can currently carry, and triple the amount of food as well. And I don't even think I can carry that with the way I'd made Tank Willie. So it was time to face facts and make the rare decision to be sensible.
Surprise, motherfucker!
This version of Snow Willie just wasn't going to be able to do the entire 100-mile long trail. I'm just too much of a snowplow. And during the random bit of phone reception earlier, I'd spoken to Nate, and he'd said he'd love to help improve the design and move the tracks underneath Willie, so I'd stay on top of the snow, do a lot more than 3 miles per gallon, and not take another 3 weeks to complete the trail. So, I'll hold my hands up. My first snowmobile wasn't quite right, and the camping was only good when the tent was warm.
My foot goes in.
So next winter I'm going to come back with a tent warming stove, the lessons I learnt here, and make Willie what he was supposed to be, and I'll beat this trail. But for the moment, I'm pretty happy with what I made, and what I've accomplished. Let's get to that road.
You ready to get in?
We're going to see if this fits, yeah?
However, as I mentioned in a previous video, I'd made Tank Willie 3 inches wider than a Hummer.
It ain't gonna fit.
So now it was time to experience some American hospitality. It wouldn't fit on the trailer that Vince had here, so
I got a trailer at my house that it will fit on.
Name your price.
Where do you need to go?
Ultimately, I'm going to Area 51. If I can get to some form of civilization, I can turn it back into a wheeled vehicle, and then I can drive to Nevada.
So we can.
And the plan was formed. Vince would take the random British guy that he just met on the mountain with him to go and get his wider trailer, and then come back here to collect Willie, and then take both of us back to his place where I'd convert from tracks to wheels, and then carry on the journey. I do like Americans.
I can run you around. Like I said, I'm an old retired old bastard, so
Awesome.
I'm way more than willing to help you out.
This was awesome.
Heating.
On the drive down to Vince's, we got to see just how much snow had fallen while I was on the mountain.
That is so cool. I've never seen that.
And Vince told me about how much snow there was on my potential route ahead in a town called Beaver, which isn't funny at all.
Then from there, I'll decide if I'm going to go up into the mountains again, like down towards Beaver kind of way.
Yeah.
And then by the
They've
time...
been getting pounded down there, so there'll be a lot of snow there now.
Yeah, so I might avoid them.
Beavers,
And then-
they've been getting pounded.
Okay.
And as if he wasn't doing enough already, he had some hot, decent coffee that wasn't burnt on a stove.
Oh, so good. Thank you.
You betcha, buddy.
And it wasn't long before we'd hitched up the trailer and were coming back up the mountain to pick up Willie. Now with a film crew and multiple camera angles.
And it's recording now.
It is recording?
Yep.
On the first attempt, it felt like it was going to flip on top of me.
Fucking hell. Yeah, but it feels like it's going to tip over backwards.
So Vince backed the trailer up to a snowbank and we loaded it on here instead. But unfortunately, I was still so wide that I had to have half of the left track hanging off the trailer. But as long as I took my time, I was pretty hopeful I wouldn't fall off the edge and flip over.
I'm on. Good work, sir. Thank you very much.
It's kind of fun. I'm like the film crew, dude. Fucking hey, dude.
Thank you.
We're rolling down the road with old Willie.
And after a quick stop to confuse the locals,
He made it out of a fucking couple snowmobiles.
Then I'm taking the tracks off it, putting the wheels back on, and then carrying on to Nevada.
On that?
Yeah.
Fuck's sakes, Mike.
I got some well-deserved calories and headed to Vince's where Beaker, from the previous video, had just arrived with the wheels and was going to help me fit them.
He's definitely officially crazy.
Sorry, I'm the bringer of chaos.
No, you're fine. Jesse, nice to meet you.
Ed.
Ed, nice to meet you.
Jesse, this is Beaker.
And then I drove off the trailer without rolling over backwards
Nice, thank you, Stephen.
and into Vince's garage, where,
Let's put it back on wheels.
and after using the skills I learned as the 2017 British Power Wanking Champion, we just removed the track conversion.
Nice. Cool.
What's the name of your YouTube?
C90 Adventures.
See what?
C90 Charlie.
Come on, if you've watched this far, click subscribe. It helps me get sponsors.
He rode a Trail 90 around the world.
Boy.
Yeah, it was where the name came from. It was a Honda C90.
We removed the last track,
There, we're off. We're off.
Yes.
What a little turd.
So now let's get the hoops off and then put the wheels on.
Yeah.
Just gonna get rid of this piece of misery. So we can actually get at the bolts.
fitted the first 3 wheels, and when I picked up the 4th I nearly pooed myself. And with that, Willie now had wheels again.
Battery exhausted.
Uh,
I think it got it all.
Then we just had to load the very heavy tracks into the pickup.
so who wants a hernia?
I've already had one.
Turns out when you get an Englishman to design a snowmobile, it's not quite right.
Wait till you guys watch the video where he crosses Lake Powell and
And after hanging out and chatting in the garage for a while,
He puts up pontoons on this and drives it across Powell.
Oh, you can do pontoons too?
Yes?
it was time for awesome Beaker and Stephen to head off.
So let me know how things go. Keep me posted.
Yeah, we'll do.
You crazy bastard.
It's the nicest thing anyone said to me for a long time.
Hey, Sheila, nice to meet you.
Likewise.
And I went inside Vince and Jesse's lovely house to recuperate after my 5 days on the mountain.
Come on in.
It's so warm.
He's looking at all these maps. Come see.
So there is the Skyline Drive of Hatefulness.
In the morning, Jesse was at work, and I had to do a lot of map reading to work out my new route. Now that I was back on wheels earlier than planned, I had to try and avoid deep snow.
Yeah, and I've got to try and work out where to go from there. I don't want too many mountain passes.
Yeah.
So with the route planned and me fully refueled and warmed up, it was time to remove some more weight from Willie and then just drive off and resume the journey. Of course not. It turns out that all the wobbling from the universal joints on the track conversion had shaken 2 bolts out of the steering and it was now flopping around all over the place.
What is the problem? What is broken?
However, I only had 1 spare bolt in my emergency kit, so Vince took me into town to buy another one at the hardware store.
Hey, buddy. What can I do?
Yeah, thank you very much for everything.
so welcome,
oh my
dude.
god.
Just pay it back one day.
Pay it forward,
Pay
you
it
mean?
forward,
Yep,
yeah.
no, will do.
If you do come back this way, I'll keep your room open for you. Drop in anytime.
That means a lot to me, thank you.
Yes, sir.
And so with the bolt fitted, we said our goodbyes at the bakery.
We part ways at the donut stand.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for everything.
Have a great one.
You rescued
See you
me.
guys.
I'm forever in your debt. Cool. Cheers, Vince.
And with that, I was back to being alone and back to travelling on wheels to Area 51, which as you'll see in the next video, was going to go a lot smoother. Hello, and thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Those of you that saw the community posts on YouTube will know that this video was delayed from release by quite a bit because all of the ad companies had closed down over Christmas, and I can't release these videos on YouTube without an ad spot because it's just not financially viable. But as a shameless plug, those of you that follow me on Patreon got this video over a month ago because I released them there in a higher bitrate and without ads. And there's even a tier where I can send you postcards while I'm on the trips. And which leads to the next reason. The other reason that this video was delayed was because I had to stop editing to go and do a 700-mile off-road journey across Nevada on a ride-on lawnmower with YouTuber Michael Reeves, which went well.
The fucking wheel fell off.
And that entire 2-week journey has been filmed and it's ready to be edited after I finish this mini Jeep series. I think there's going to be 2 or 3 more episodes of Will It Make It to Area 51? And to answer some of your questions, yes, I will be releasing an upgraded version of Willie with all of the Will It Make It to Area 51 videos on it. And it will be upgraded because you can put tank tracks on it and stuff. It's going to be a right pain in the ass to finish designing it because making tracks that turn when you push it is, like I said, a right pain in the ass, but that's for me to deal with. So, yeah, that is about it. Thank you for watching. If you want to support me, you can buy excellent merchandise, such as t-shirts and jumpers and things on my website. If you have any other ideas for different merch, I think I should make some different stuff, but I'm struggling to think of what to make. So if you have any ideas, leave it in the comments below, and I'll see what I can do. And yeah, join me on Patreon. That's another good way to support the channel. And you can get postcards from On the Adventures. And I sent them out on the lawnmower trip to the people that had that tier. So yeah, thank you very much. I couldn't do this without you. Sorry for the delays, but I'm slowly getting better and trying to make a workflow to release these quicker, which I need because the lawnmower trip generated over 1 terabyte of footage. So cool. Yeah, cheers. Bye.